right, starting
Yeah.
recording. Recording started. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the first official podcast slash, I guess, YouTube video of the Team Bromance Adventures. Is what we're gonna go with, I guess, in the comment. Um, so we're basically here with myself. I am Blade, and I am with Rob, Coco, and Sparta. And basically, we're hoping to have a fourth person, Frosted Frosty Flakes, who will be joining us, but so far we have not had a word from him. Other than that, we are going to start out now with the situation is Halloween based and very themed. So we're looking into an adventure where all of these people are trying to escape from a haunted house. Each one of you is going to get a little short story going into how you ended up in the house, and then we will start up with Rob, starting with the first part of it, and we will go from there. So, Rob, basically, you were just walking the streets of Britain, enjoying your Halloween, looking all beautiful in your costume that I won't quite reveal yet because obviously we don't want to give away anything. You're walking from house to house, trick or treat, and you're feeling a little tired, so you think, hey, it's time to go home. You get home, and right as you get home, you look at your door and you notice that the door's open just a little bit. It seems very weird to you. You walk in, and as you walk in, you're looking around, very scared, wondering what's going on. You have your Halloween candy near your face, clenching your fists, ready to throw fists with whatever's in there. Just then, you hear a creak from behind you, turn around, and blackout. You got whacked in the face. So, Sparta, you are also out trick or treating. It's going to be a common theme for all of you. I apologize. Walking through the streets, saying hey to everybody, going, oh, I love your costume, love your costume. Trick or treating, going from house to house, getting these big old candy bars, loving it. And you're in your costume again. Won't ruin anything for anybody quite yet. Going through, you're walking down and you turn. You're like, hey, let's take this shortcut down this alleyway. I can get over to the busier streets, get those nice old big candy bars, full size. So you start walking in that alleyway, and you hear a trash can fall over, little bit of it, and you turn around. Nothing's behind you. You see the black cat walk across, and you turn around, bam, blackout. Coco, you guessed it. You're trick or treating. Oh, this is some fun starts right here. So Coco, you're out trick or treating in your costume again. Not gonna say nothing. Basically, you're walking from street to street, and this this weird house on this corner just is it's attracting you for some reason. You have this pull to it. You're like, oh man, they've got to have the best candy. Holy shit! So you start running to that thing at full sprint, and you trip. And you get back up, your knees are scuffed. You're like, oh man, pick up your candy. You run to the house, you open the door, ding dong. A person in a mask opens the door, and you say, trick or treat. They turn like they're going to grab a bowl of candy, and they come back with a poof, blackout. So basically, you were all trick or treating, and somebody decided, hey, let's get these three random people. So, Rob, you're going to come to, and you're laying on this porcelain floor, very cold. It's around you. You're noticing a few appliances here and there: a microwave, a refrigerator, some countertops, a stove. You're looking, and it looks like there's some food that's been left out on the counters, as if it's over there in the process of molding, as if it's been out for months. You look around, the sink's full of dishes. The table looks like there's actually a little bit of some markings on it, some blood maybe, a little bit of something red. And as you get up, you feel a very weird sense that something's close, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Okay. Looking around at my surroundings, I spot the table and I start moving closer towards it to see what the markings are. But feeling the presence around me, I hesitate and look over my shoulder.
All right. Let me see. Okay, so getting to the table, you get there and you feel an eerie feeling. So you do that little glance over your shoulder. Nothing there, but you do still feel that, almost as if as you turned your head, it was still behind you. It's just that in the back of your mind thing. As you look down at the table, you see a couple of symbols. One looks like a musical note. Let's see. It looks like a little bit of a bend to a flat platform and then down into a little circle. Not sure what the musical notes are. I apologize, everybody who watches this. I'm not musically inclined. So I won't be able to tell you jack about those musical notes. You also see a 4,
Yep.
and then you see a dagger carved into the table. So basically, from that situation, that's all you see on the top of the table. There's a little bit of red here and there, as if you can't quite tell if it's paint or if it's dried blood. Other than that, there's nothing else that you can really find inside the kitchen
Okay.
at this moment. So with that, we're going to jump over to Sparta. Sparta, basically what you do is you're waking up, and you are as well waking up on a very cold porcelain floor. You're looking around at your surroundings, and you notice a mirror on the wall that has a sink under it. To your right, there is a stand-up tub / shower combo that is filled to the brim with some sort of liquid. You look in front of you, and there is a doorway that is slightly cracked ajar, and just to the right of that is a toilet.
Okay, so what I do is I would search
Hey!
I
Sorry.
would search I would search through the liquid filled tub to see if there's anything in there, and also the sink. I would never go near the door ajar.
All right. Okay, so being with the door being ajar, you said you're gonna first reach into the bathtub and search that.
Yes, indeedy.
All right. So first, quick pause. Everybody who is in this party, the person who just joined is my friend from my childhood. This is Frosty. He is Frosted Frosty Flakes on Mixer, but he is going to be joining us. So, Trevor, this is Sparta, Coco, and Rob.
Hello, hello.
What
So,
what did you say his mixer name was?
Frosted Frosty Flakes.
Yep.
So, you came in at this point. Rob has already taken his turn. Because we had to start, you are at the bottom of the initiative list. I apologize. A little quick of how you got there. You were taking your son out trick-or-treating, and basically you were taking him from house to house, and he was starting to get crabby, so you started going home. As you were rounding the corner getting home, you saw your fiance standing outside, and your son started running to her to obviously jump into her arms. Just as you see him running away and you're smiling, you feel a really, really sharp pain in the back of your head and you black out. So that's where we stop for you. Mr. Rob already had his situation. We're on Sparta right now. Sparta, you are now reaching into the tub, getting that hand nice and deep in that liquid. For some reason, this liquid doesn't have the feel of water. It's almost more of like a gooey substance, and you can definitely feel it sticking to your arm. As you're reaching around in the bottom, you definitely feel a few things in there. One that feels awfully familiar, that's not really as if it's a body part per se, but it feels like it is some sort of bone-ish material. As you continue through the tub, you're feeling a few different things, and luckily for you, the dice was in your favor, so you didn't prick your finger on the sharp object that you feel, but you definitely feel a sharp object towards the bottom of this tub, straight towards the front near the drain. So now it's up to you, sir.
Is it pick upable?
Yes, it is pick upable.
Let's pick up the sharp object since I
All
didn't
right.
trick myself with it.
All
And
right.
if the toilet has any water in it, probably throw my arms in there. Try to get this stuff off me.
All right. So pulling your hand out, you see you now officially have a dagger in your hand. It itself is it's shaped as if it has the handle, and it has for the hilt of it, it's a little bit coming out and circling down, and then the other part on the other side is coming out and circling up. The dagger is then to a fine point of about, I would say, 8 inches long, and attached to it seems to be some sort of rope attached to the bottom of the handle. As you pull it towards towards the toilet, you actually feel something coming out of this goo with it. And as you get to the toilet, half of a skeleton actually comes up tied to the other end of this blade. And now you're at the toilet about to stick your hands into it.
Use the blade to cut off the rope. That's
All right.
This dude's body to me. Still go to the toilet afterwards.
All right.
Don't
So
wanna
you
break him.
are able to successfully cut the rope, and you are able to get your hands in the toilet. You do notice as you're putting your hands in the toilet doesn't seem to be clean. You now have officially just stuck your hands in duty water. So you have successfully gotten most of the grime off of the blade and your hand. However, now the blade and most of your arm are covered in poop as you pull it back.
Camo.
Camo. So the only thing, looking around the rest of the room, you don't see anything else of real importance. You do notice that the sink does have clean water in it now that you're standing up. But nothing else in the room does seem to be of use. The only way out of your room is the ajarred door.
Okay, well, if there is water in there, let's wash our hands. I should wait for I should wait for the sink first, but then peek out of the ajar door.
All right. So then, what's going to happen is you're going to clean the poop off of your hand and the remainder of the goo. And you take your now cleaned arm and dagger, and you walk over to the door and you peek through. What you see through that door is a kitchen. You see the appliances here and there, and you do see a figure standing next to a table. From the back, the figure looks to be somewhat bloody on the shirt. The shirt seems to be a little ripped up. Pants seem to be a little ripped up, and it seems to be as if this figure is still alive and standing there. But for that, we will now switch to Coco. So Coco, you wake up and you look at your surroundings. You notice a desk, a really fancy chair with a pipe next to it. Next to that pipe looks like a what the fuck are those things called? Oh fuck, I can't remember the name of that lighter now.
Zippo?
Zippo?
Yes, thank you. You see a Zippo next to it. It is a gold Zippo next to the pipe of tobacco. The rest of the room has a few bookshelves here and there, and you notice it seems like it's some sort of study.
So I want to search this desk.
All right, so and going to the desk, you start searching the desk here and there, opening up all the drawers, looking in. You see a few bits of paper, nothing too important. Towards the bottom of the papers, though, you do see a sheet of music, and that does look like it does look a little important. It has a song on there, but you can't quite make out the song's name, as if it's been rubbed away with time. You do notice a few notes on there, one of which being a note that has a little bit of a slang. It's kind of like an angle, and then it leads into the top shelf down into a little circle. Another one is a little circle leading straight up, and then it's almost like an F. And then another one it's basically like the first one, but when it comes down, it has a line going across right under the tabletop level. So it's basically like, here, I'll just draw it for you really quick. Da, 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 da. There we go. Can you see it?
Rotty. Yes, yeah.
All right, that is what you are seeing on that. Those are the only real visible notes you can see. From there, you're also kind of feeling around in that desk a little bit still, and you feel what seems like a button on the top edge of the right top drawer.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that sheet of music. I'm gonna walk over to the pipe and lighter, pick that up, and then come back and push this button.
All right. So make sure that you do take the notes of what you have on you. Just because if you pick stuff up, I can't keep track of all the stuff that all you pick up. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So basically you go over, you pick up the lighter and the nice little tobacco pipe, and you decide to put those in your pockets on your beautiful outfit. And you go back over and you press the button. As you do, you see one of the bookshelves kind of slide open, and from behind the bookshelf you hear, "Oh yeah, baby. Oh, come on in. Let's make it love tonight, baby." And you hear some sexy music start chiming in. And as you see it open, you see that it's literally just a sex dungeon. Dildos on the wall. You see a bunch of different sex swings in there. It does not look like a place you want to walk into alone by yourself.
Well, I'm gonna head out to the door because I'm gonna leave that open for the ability to come back. So if I find somebody, we can just go up in there.
If I find somebody, we can go back to the sex dungeon, guys. All right, so you actually have two doors you can choose from. When you're looking away from the sex dungeon into the corner where the walls meet, you have a door on your right-hand side and one on the left-hand side wall.
I take my little happy ass to the right side door.
To the right side door. All right, then you have officially moved into the next room. We will stop there with you, and I actually have to move. So, Frusty, we will jump with you, sir.
All right.
All right. So you coming to, you wake up on a very dirty, very cold cement floor. Around you, you see a bunch of dusty old gaming equipment, an old actual like Atari game console that's sitting on a table. You have like the old gaming systems from arcades and everything, the stand-up ones. You have like a pool table, foosball table. It's basically you wake up in a rec room.
Okay.
And you notice your surroundings. There's a dartboard that happens to be on specific, with darts on specific numbers. Other than that, everything else in the room looks old, dusty, and useless.
So I take it I do not recognize this place at all.
Nope. Absolutely zero recognizing of this place. You do not. The only thing you recognize is the games from your childhood being played. You've played pool, you played foosball, you've been at like, an arcade, so you've played a few of these games. That's the only thing you recognize.
So with that, by any chance, is there like any pool cues?
There are a few pool cues, two of them that are hanging off the wall.
I'm just gonna grab one just to at least have something with me.
All right,
Not
sounds
holding
good.
it threatening or anything, just like holding it as if I'm going to play a game. Like I got like my hand in the center of
All right, sounds good. So holding it non-menacingly,
Yep.
you have officially grabbed a pool cue, and now you are standing fairly close to the wall. I believe it would be on the south corridor of the room. You are standing on the wall, or next to the wall, with a pool cue in your hand. Um, Across the room from you, just to the right, you do see a very slightly ajar door. And then right next to it on the way out is the dartboard I was talking about that does have the darts on specific points of that board.
it. All right. I don't know. I'll just take like a quick mental note. Just take a look at that. Like,
The
does the
dartboard?
dart seem off by any chance, or?
The darts are on specific points of the board. You notice that one of them is on the triple. It's on the triple 20. The other one is on the bullseye. And then the third one is on the double 12.
Okay.
All right. And what do you choose to do from here, sir?
I guess just for fun, I'll grab the darts.
All right.
I'll just grab them, put them in my pocket, and head out the door.
All right. Well, grabbing the darts, nothing happens particularly that you hear or see or anything of that matter, and you walk out the door. And from there, we will jump back to Mr. Rob. Rob, we are still in the kitchen, now standing staring at a table.
So, taking a mental note of those symbols, how many doors are leading out from the kitchen?
From the kitchen, you have 3 doors leading out. Where you're standing at the kitchen table, it's about, I would say, just off a little bit from the middle of the room. And you have a door directly south of you. And just adjacent in the corner, at that same corner where that door is, there is another door down there, and then directly behind you, 4 doors, because there's one leading to what you can obviously clearly see is a pantry. Sorry, that was the 4th door. And then there's one directly behind you that is just basically just ajar, just a little bit ajar.
So, firstly, I open the pantry door just to see if there's anything useful in there.
All right. Walking over to the pantry, you now open the pantry. In there, you see like there's your different types of snacks, canned goods, things like that. But they look like they haven't been touched in months to years. In there, you do notice a broom and dustpan, a vacuum, and what looks like one of those little shop vacs that you can use with your hand for the stairs.
Okay, so looking at those items, deciding nothing will really help at the moment, I turn back and go through the first door, which was opposite me at the table.
Opposite you of the table? So
Yeah.
down? So you want to go south then?
Yeah.
Okay. So then heading south, you head and you open the door and you walk through it. And because we just started with yours, and the only thing you did was look into a pantry, we will continue on with you for a little bit.
Yep.
As you open the door, you open it to a large, extravagant room, and it's very familiar to you as a dining room. Long, elongated. It's elongated table. There's some china cabinets on the right side, directly across from where you entered the room. To your left, On that wall, directly to your left, which would be east of you, you would notice that there is a door slightly ajar. Other than that, there's windows that are boarded up all on the walls directly across from you and to your right.
So I walk through the dining room, taking note of my surroundings towards the slightly ajar door to have a
Okay.
peek through.
You do notice on the dining room table there are bits and pieces of what's left over from people who have been there previously, scraps and everything that are molding out, plates that have been thrown across the table, or as if they've been almost forced across the table. You do notice that on the chairs, some of them are broken, missing legs and things. As you get to the door, you do notice what looks like a fairly large turkey cutting knife.
Okay.
And it is sitting right at the edge of the table where the head of the table would sit.
So before I get to the door, I pick up the knife just in case.
All right, sounds good. Grabbing the knife, and then now you're going to head through the door then?
Yep.
All right, so then we will get you out there, and from there we will jump back to Sparta. Sparta, as you're peeking through this doorway this whole time, you're watching this figure stand at the table. You notice the figure starts moving, walking away from the table, heading towards a different section of the kitchen, only to open a door and close it gruntingly, and walked away and walked towards another door at the completely opposite side of the room from where you're looking. And then from there, you notice now that the kitchen is empty.
Um, knowing me, I would probably. I'm gonna follow Big Man. What door did he go through?
The one directly across from you.
And is there any other ones there?
There is directly across from you, and then adjacent to that in the corner, there's a door on the right hand or your west side wall. And it's directly in the corner right next to the door he went through.
The door he went through, is it lockable?
Is it lockable? Yes, the door is lockable, but it is from the it is from the kitchen side, so you would be able to lock it.
Okay, I don't want him coming from behind me, so I'm gonna lock that door for now.
All right.
And I'm gonna take the other door.
All right, so then you are taking the other door. So then we'll meet you through that, and I'll actually have to close that door. Close that door. Locked. All right, so as you come through the door, you do end up coming into what looks like it's almost like a walkway or an entranceway into a stairwell. There is a stairwell going up and a stairwell going down. So the stairwell going up is on the complete west wall, which would be directly in front of you, and it's going upward. To your right, and that would be on the northern wall, is the stairwell going downward.
Well, I'd rather end up on a roof than a basement any day, so I'm gonna go up.
All right, sounds good. So with that, we will send you up.
I'll jump off my face if I have.
So as you get to the top floor, or what looks like the top floor, because there's no more stairs up here, you look and you see a door. As you come up the stairwell, you'll come up like this, and you'll turn the corner, and you'll see a door directly across from you, slightly ajar.
Peek through the door.
All right. So peeking through the door, you see a large hallway with many doors on it.
This is probably where everybody else is. How many doors we talking?
On the right-hand side door or right-hand side wall, you do see two doors. One that is only about, I'd say about 20 feet from you on the right side, and then one that is almost all the way to the end of the hallway. You can barely see it, but it is there. Adjacent to that one at the end of the hallway, there is a secondary door, but it's on the left side. There is also another door on the left side, but it's about halfway between the first door on your right and then the last doors. And then directly on the left side, adjacent to the right side door, closest to you, is another door.
We're gonna take that one. I don't want to go too far in the what may be the roof.
Okay, so you're going into the hallway and then taking the left or the right?
The left.
The left? All right. How are you entering the room?
Steadily. Knife in
Steadily?
hand. Yes.
Knife in hand. All right. So, dagger in hand, you get into the room. As you get into the room, as soon as you are full body in the room, the door slams behind you and locks.
Oh, jeez.
Uh.
And we will come right back to you, Sparta, so
Okay.
you can kind of mold in that for a little bit.
Yeah, I got
All right. So,
Helen.
Coco,
Mm-hmm.
you came through that door after seeing that sex dungeon. You're a little bit thrown off. You're kind of like, oh God, what kind of house am I in? So you get in here and you notice a massive library. So it's in an L-shaped form. So it would go like this. From what you can see, it goes directly down and then down a wall, and then it comes up and then right behind you, just to link back to that far end. On the far end, directly in the L shape, you can definitely see a door. Or, sorry, you cannot see a door. There's no door over there. I accidentally drew that door on accident. There was no door. Shh. Erased. The only door you see is to your left. There's a door on your left. It's in the corner. Basically, where the L shape turns the corner, it's where that L comes out to peak. It's at that little corner right there. So it's just, from you, it would be just, I would be southwest of where your position is right now.
Well, since I'm in a giant ass library, I want to take a peek around, see if I can't find anything of use or, weapon of some kind or just anything in general.
All right. Well, looking around your library, you see a few tables strewn about here and there. On those tables are books. On the shelves in that library are books. Um, you do notice a few different things where the librarian would sit. There does seem to be a computer behind her desk. As well as that, there's also a golden book back there.
So I see this golden book and the computer. I'm gonna walk to her desk, check out the book, and then see if I can't get on her computer and find out what the hell this house is.
All right. So you get over to the computer, and are you doing anything to the book, or are you just going straight for the computer?
I'm gonna, for now, before I go to the computer, I'm gonna look at this book, look and see what its title is. What is this book?
So basically, when you look at it, it's basically just a straight golden book. There's no title on it. You can't lift it off of the desk for some reason. You do open the first page, and it says, "A light will guide your way." And then basically, right next to that, when you open it, is a little slot that looks just big enough to fit a Zippo lighter in.
Well, because, there's a button in the previous room. I'm gonna stick the lighter in the book and see what happens.
All right. So just as you do that, the computer actually comes on and a word comes across. Welcome.
I look to see if it's been typed to me or if it's just a little random message that says, "Welcome to the computer."
It is a blank screen with what looks like a typed welcome to you.
I type back, "Hello?" Question mark.
All right, so you type in hello question mark, and as it pops up, it looks like the three little dots as if an iPhone is typing to you, because that's totally real in a computer. As that goes, it chimes, you hear a little ding, and it pops in, and it says, "Hello, I am Steve. How can I be of service to you?
Well, I type back, "Hi, Steve. Do you know anything about where I am?"
You are currently in the library. Is there anything else I can help you out with?
God damn it, Steve. What is this house, Steve?
Well, this house is officially a training ground to make sure that we can see if our test subjects are able to live through the rigorous puzzling that is taking place.
God damn it, I just survived something like this last week. What the hell? Steve, I got a question for you, guy. Uh, I type in, I'm like, how big is this house? How many rooms are there?
Let's see.
Question.
This room is 3 stories with a basement, a first floor, a second floor, and a hidden attic. Technically not counting as a floor. However, there are 18 total rooms inside this home, each one with its own special and particular interesting things.
Steve, I type in, I'm like, Steve, do you know how to get to this hidden attic?
Yes, go to second floor and go in middle of hallway. There will be little pull down string. Pull down attic steps.
I'm like, all right, Steve, we'll talk again soon. I leave the computer.
Nice to meet
Check to
you.
see if sticking the lighter in the book did really anything. And if
Sticking
not, I bounce.
Alright, so sticking the lighter in the book you actually did when you did it, you hear a little click. And out from the bottom of where you're sitting is actually it's a set of pistols.
Ooh, I'm gonna scoop up
You
those pistols.
you scoop up the pistols, and on the handle of both pistols it says Bonnie and Clyde.
Ooh. I scoop up the pistols. I look around. See if these came with any bullets.
Facts.
If not, then I walk over to the door.
Alright, well, you do notice that your guns are, and for the second straight session in a row, completely empty.
God damn it.
You now walk over to the door, and through that, are you going to walk through it?
I cautiously peek
All
through
right.
the door.
So, peeking through the doorway, you do see what looks like a boarded off doorway at the complete end. You see two doors, one to your left, which is fairly close to you, and one to your right, which is towards the boarded up door, but just a little bit back from, I'd say about 10 feet back from it towards you. Standing in that hallway, you do notice a figure, and this figure has ragged clothes on, red bits on the clothes. Looks like it's a very holy outfit, and he is just standing there with a knife in his hand.
I cautiously stay hidden behind the door to wait to see what this figure does.
Cautiously.
All right, so Coco being a creeper, peeking in through the room, that will bring us back to Frosty. You, sir, are in the hallway, basically. Or did you actually go through the door at that point, right? Okay. Yeah, so you went through the door out to out to that. So when you get out, you see to your right, it's a dead end. There's nowhere to go that way. To your left, you see a long winding hallway. The hallway goes all the way down and then it bends to the end. There are 0 doors on either end of that hallway.
All right. Well, not knowing where I am or how I got here, I'm gonna check in my pocket, see if I got anything.
All right. In your pockets, you're able to pull out 1 Reese's candy bar. You are able to also find your cell phone, which seems to have 10% battery life, and your keys to your home.
Okay. Does it look like I have signal?
You do not. It is a 0 signal bar area where you are standing right now.
All right, then if that's the case, I'm gonna shut off my phone right away so I can try to preserve any battery power.
Sounds good. Make sure to write that down. I do also have that on my end. All right. Are you going to proceed down the hallway?
I guess I'm gonna walk down cautiously.
A lot of cautiously going on in this area.
Well, it's so I don't know where I am. I don't know if there's like a party or something. I don't know how I like walked out and got here. So I'm gonna cautiously walk as if like everyone's sleeping in the house and I'm just not trying to wake up anyone.
All right, sounds good. So you're walking down the hallway, you get to the end, you come around the bend. To your left, you do see two doors. One directly to your left as you come around, and then one about 5 feet down from it. Adjacent to the one that's 5 feet down from it is another door to your right. The hallway does as well continue bending until it reaches another door at the end.
Oh man. Okay.
So many choices.
Do I hear anything coming from any of these doors? I just want to like kind of try to listen
right.
in real quick.
So listening in, you hear that the basement slash this area in general that you're in, because it's very damp, very stony, is very quiet. Not much going. Every so often you hear what sounds like metal kind of clacking together. You hear what sounds like the dripping of a faucet. And what actually kind of sounds like a little bit of water movement, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Okay. Um, I guess since this is a house, I would take the single door on the right hand side.
All right. So getting to that, how are you going to approach this door and how do you want to open the door?
I'm going to go slowly. Like I said, I'm trying to be as if everyone's sleeping. I'm just hoping like I might see somebody in the other room, but I'm just going to go quietly. I'm even going to like try to, if I can, open up the handle with the door right next to, just like quietly open it.
Okay, so you're going to try to be as quiet as possible.
Yeah, and take a quick
All
look
right.
at.
I'm sorry, sir. The die did not like your quiet.
Okay.
With a nat 1, you go to open the door, and you trip, breaking your pool stick in half as you fall onto it, knocking the door open. The door slams into the wall. You hear a loud, massive sound. By the way, now, hold on. Rob, you heard this noise. Coco, you heard this noise. And it seems like Sparta, you heard something, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. It sounded like something dropped, like a book dropped off a shelf or something to you. So you are now face planted on this stone floor with a door wide open behind you, a broken pool stick on the ground next to you, which, by the way, you were lucky enough that didn't actually injure you. You didn't stab yourself. Let's just be happy about that. So what are you doing now?
Well, I'm gonna carry both the pieces of the broken pool stick, and I'm just gonna be like, sorry, I broke it. I swear I'll fix it or pay for a new one. Hello.
As you stand up and you spout these words, you look around at your surroundings and you notice chains hanging from the ceilings, bodies hanging from those chains, a slab standing in front of you with a body being opened up, dismembered. You see the guts strewn out on the table. You notice this is a slaughterhouse. As you notice this, the door slams behind you and it locks. And now we're going to move to Rob.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, so after I've just walked through the door with the knife, I hear a loud noise, and it makes me jump because I'm not expecting anything else in the house. But I'm not quite sure which direction it came from.
So
I try and-
basically, you just kind of like jump and you're looking around.
yeah, so I stand there and try and listen out for any more noises, but that seems to be the only one I can hear.
Yep, you do only hear the one noise.
So based on that, I get a kind of suspicion that I'm not alone in the house. On that, I decide I need to try and find a way out, if possible. So I look around this new area that I'm in.
Well, lucky for you, you look around and right above the massively boarded up door to your right is an exit sign.
Okay.
And as you look around the remainder of the hallway that you are in, behind you, you do notice two doors. One directly at the end of the hall that's just slightly ajar, and one just to the right of it, a little bit closer to you, about 5 feet.
Thinking this is almost too good to be true, I take a chance towards the exit sign.
All right, so you go towards the exit sign, and as soon as you get there, you see that there's a note posted on that sign. And on the note it says, "Leaving so soon? You haven't solved the puzzle yet." And right below it, you see 3 symbols that look like they could be interchanged.
Okay. What do the symbols show?
The 3 symbols that you can see right now are a cat, a
Yep.
jack-o'-lantern. Oh
Yep.
god, that's the worst fucking drawn cat I've ever done. All right, nobody gets to see my picture of the cat I drew when we're done here because it looks horrible. As well as the jack-o'-lantern looks like an apple with a smiley face. So it's going to be a cat, a jack-o'-lantern, and what looks like a ghost.
So I read the notes and think, yep, definitely too good to be true. But studying the symbols, I'm not quite sure whether, as they're interchangeable, whether I can move them around to unlock the door or whether this was just there for show.
Below the symbols, you do notice a button. So
Okay.
if anything, the way that you're looking, it looks like you would match the symbols how you think they would go, and then you would press the button when you think you're finalized. That's the system it looks like.
So I switch the cat for the jack-o'-lantern
All right.
and then push the button, see if that works.
All right, so jack-o'-lantern, cat, and ghost, you press the button. You hear what sounds like a few mechanisms going off, some gears turning, and a very, very loud wail sound. Like
Okay.
it's a wailing sound, like woo!
At that sound, I become startled, stumble and fall backwards, and look around to see what that was.
All right, looking around at your surroundings, you do notice that the walls, everything look the same. There's nothing really changed from the room that you're in. You do notice that one of the pictures that was on the wall, what had a gentleman standing there as if he was like posing for it, is now actually gone. It's just a blank canvas. Apart from that, nothing else looks different.
Okay, so freaked out by the fact that this painting's gentleman has now disappeared, I decide maybe I should look for another way out and turn back on myself.
All right. So then, with that being said, you now have the 3 doors to go through. The 3 doors are the one you came through, which leads to the dining room.
Yeah.
The one directly to your right, about 15 feet down the hallway, and then the one all the way at the end of the hallway, directly from you.
I go to the door all the way at the end of the hallway.
All right. And as we get to that, we're going to stop there.
Okay.
Sparta, we're going to get to you, sir. So, being locked in the room, you're looking at your surroundings. You see a child's bed. What looks like a table set up for a tea party. A few dolls here and there strewn about on the tea party end of it. You notice on the walls, there's some more porcelain dolls on shelves. Each one of them is just looking in your direction now. Every one of them. That includes the dolls that are sitting at the tea table.
Yeah, I don't do dolls.
Just
I'm guessing it's time to have a tea party. Sit down in the other seat with the other doll.
All right, so as you walk over to the tea table, you sit down in the open chair. As you are walking, you notice every one of the heads of all the porcelain dolls following you all the way to your seat. You sit down, and as you sit, a belt buckle actually comes up and clicks around your waist. As it does, the doll directly across from you turns its head, looks at you, and goes, "Ha! Tea time! Would you like some tea?"
If you will join me, yes.
So one of the other dolls jumps off the shelf, walks over, grabs the teapot, and pours you some tea. And as they do, you notice on the bottom of the plate, it says, "Don't drink the tea." As you notice that, the doll, the one adjacent from you, twists its head back straight, and then the one directly to your left twists its head and says, "One of us is lying. Can you figure out which?" And so basically, sorry.
Aren't you gonna have some tea with me?
Tea is for you, not for us. So the first one cocks its head again and it goes, "If you drink the tea, we'll let you free." The other one to your right now cocks in and says, "If you drink the tea, you will die." And the third one cocks in and says, "If you drink the tea, the belt will unloosen."
I still have this knife, right?
Yes, you do.
I'm not drinking the tea.
All right.
I'm going to use the knife to unbuckle myself.
All right. Using the knife, you now slide it into it, and as you notice yourself start to saw into that belt, you're trying to get it off. You start to notice some of the dolls are no longer on the shelves.
They're going
and they're standing now on the floor looking in your direction. You're getting deeper and deeper, and you notice the light starts to flicker. And every time it flickers, the dolls get closer to you. Yes.
Almost over. If I'm gonna die anyway by these dolls, right?
It's gonna be brutal.
Let's take a sip of that tea.
All right. You take a sip of the tea, and you hear a really loud noise, and it goes. It's basically a really loud chime. Yeah, that was my wife.
As soon as you said that.
No, Sparta just asked if it was you. He was like, "Is that Harley?" I was like, "Yep." He goes, "Oh."
Hello.
So basically, as soon as you drink the tea, you feel a weird feeling in your stomach, but you hear a really loud chime. The belt buckle slips off, and all of the dolls just fall. The door opens.
Nice having tea with you, lady. But I'm gonna head out.
All right, walking back out into the hallway, the door closes behind you and locks. And you hear nothing but giggling coming from the other end. But it's like multiple. It's almost like every doll is now against the door, giggling on the door.
Yeah.
And from there, where would you like to go?
How many doors are left? I want to take this. 'Cause-
So after the one you came out of, there's one directly adjacent to you. If you continue looking down to your left, there are two on the same side that you walk through, and then one adjacent from the one all the way at the end of the wall or hallway.
and I'm not supposed to have any knowledge from what you told the other people, right?
Nope. You're supposed
Okay.
to pretend that you've never heard it.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so
But
since I don't,
remember, to your right, you can go through the door to your right and head back downstairs too.
yes,
So that is an option.
that's what I'm going to do because
All
now
right.
I'm in the attic. Oh no, I don't think I'm in the attic. I think I am not on the first floor. So let's
Correct.
head back downstairs.
All right. So heading back downstairs, we will stop with you getting to the first floor. Coco, we are on you again. Coco, what you see in the time lapse of everything that's happened, the figure at the end of the hallway walked over to the door that you see clearly spells exit above it. You look over it, you see him fidgeting with some things, and he presses a button. That you hear gears in the wall next to you, all the lights shut off, and you hear the same loud wail that was heard in the previous part of it. Woo! It was a very bad wail. Get over it. Let's move on. As that's happening, you see the figure at the end of the hallway actually leaps as if feared. That figure now starts walking towards the door you're in, and you are face to crotch with this figure.
Well, I deduced that exit sign doors, don't trust them. Don't trust them at all. I have gun in hand, knowing full damn well this gun does not have any bullets. I open the door and point that at the person directly in front of me.
All right, now this is where we actually continue and split now. So, Coco, you are now pointing your gun directly in the face of what looks like a zombie. Face makeup, everything, but it looks realistic. This looks like a real fucking zombie. Mr. Rob, you are now looking into the face of what looks like Mickey Mouse Myers. It is a Mickey Mouse masked creature with a long onesie uniform of Mike Myers. And he now has a gun in your face. So the reactions ensue. You are both now officially able to do things.
Who the hell are you? What is this house? Why am I here? Did you bring me here? Man, I will shoot you. Say something.
What the hell's Mickey Mouse holding a gun at me for? I raise the knife up and say, "Get that out of my face because I need to get out of here."
Oh, listen here, guy. We're not going anywhere.
All right, so now officially both of you realizing that you both can talk, you both have intelligence, and you have now officially threatened each other. You both now somewhat feel weirded out that a zombie can talk and that Mickey Mouse in a Mike Myers costume is officially talking to you with a gun in your face. This is getting a little weird for you two.
I'm like, all right. I will take this gun out your face if you tell me your name.
Okay, it's Rob. Who are
Wait a
you?
minute. I'm Coco. I think I know you.
Coco?
Rob.
You do recognize each other from
I'm
past
gonna put
life.
the gun down. You better not stab me, because then I will be really.
No. If that's really Coco, I won't stab you.
I put the gun down. I'm like, where the hell did you come from? Because wherever you came from, I don't want to go.
I just tried that exit over there, but something really weird happened. I changed some symbols around, pushed a button, and there was a painting with a gentleman that he just vanished, and there was a loud wail, and I had to get out of there.
So what I'll tell you right now, I've learned some shit about this house. It's like 18 rooms. There's this place has test subjects. So we're like mice in a mousetrap in a like a little puzzle.
Okay.
So also learned don't trust exit sign doors, guys. Don't trust
No.
They're gonna lead to bad things. And if you see somebody walk into a room and it locks, Don't do it either. Just walk away to another door.
Just leave that
That'll
guy
be
to
some
die.
shit,
Get
too.
out
Yeah,
of there.
you see somebody walk through a door and the door slides behind. Just walk away. Not here, bro.
I've not been in this house before, but I've been in a similar situation, so
Yeah,
I've
man.
learned
Hearing that
don't touch
information.
shit.
Okay, so do you have any suggestions where we might be better looking next?
We gotta find this hidden attic. There is some sort of hidden attic. There's
Okay.
basement, there's a first floor, second floor, and a hidden attic. Because I asked this computer back in this room I just came out of a library. Its name was Steve. Feel like it was some sort of like Jarvis type situation where it knows
His
what
name
the
was
hell this house
Steve.
is, but it's Steve. You can kind of trust it. It was kind of stupid a little bit. Tried to fuck with me. But it says there's a hidden attic, and I want to check out the hidden attic.
Okay, so let's find that.
All right. So you two together now, we're going to stop with you. We're going to jump down to Frosty. You are down in this slaughter room. Oh, man. So what is your first reaction to the slaughter room?
Okay, first off, since I never expected something like this to ever happen to me, it's
Uh-huh.
been a weird experience, but since it's Halloween, I'm going to go up to one of the bodies and I'm going to see if I can get like a little bit of blood on my fingers and I'm just going to taste it, see if it's like fake or else if it's like very irony. And
All right. Well, walking up to the figure on the slab in front of you with its chest ripped open, you dip your fingers into the salsa and decide to give it a nice old lick. Tasting the very, very bloody blood taste, you realize that this is not fake. Everything here, hanging here, the blood on the floor, everything is real.
all
Just
right,
as you put your fingers in the chest too, you hear what sounds like a door slam from the hallway behind you and footsteps walking towards your door. Very heavy, heavy footsteps.
all right. First, I'm going to like shit a little bit. Um, but I'm like not going to be able to because I'm like too clenched. So it's just a battle between my body right there for a split second. Um, I'm going to use one of the broken cue sticks, and
Mhm.
I'm going to jam it under the door to create a wedge.
Okay.
Since the door busted inward, so I'm going to create a wedge there. So it might make it harder, pretty much, to try to lock the door myself.
All right. All right. So doing that, you knock it in, get that little wedge in there, and just as you do see the shadow of feet stop right in front of your door. What's your next move, sir?
Um, oh my God, what do I see around me? Like I see bodies, but like
You do see a wall to your right that actually has what looks
like a
like,
squared room or
huh?
like a squared room.
It's actually a rounded off room.
Okay.
Um, so when you're looking at it, you can definitely see some rounded corners in some of the areas, and it does dip down. The floor does dip down into a drain in the middle where you can see definitely all that blood is flowing down into. Some of these bodies are actually fresh and dripping a fair amount of blood still. Um, You do notice to the right hand side are what looks like the refrigerators, which are at morgues that you could stick bodies in to keep them cool. You also notice towards the back of the shop is just a pile of body parts.
Hmm. No windows or anything in this
Uh,
room.
Absolutely no windows to get through or look out of or see anything. It is just a closed in room with one singular light lighting up this whole area for you. And it's
Okay. Um. Jesus Christ. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. In front of the door. I guess I'm just gonna try to like throw some bodies onto the ground. Kind of like throw one of the. I want to throw like part of the body in front of the door to kind of like cover the, like throw it on top of the part of the cue stick that's hanging out.
Trying to kind of weigh down that wedge.
That, but also like hide it. Like
Okay.
hide that's there. And then I want to run into the pile of dead body parts and cover myself.
All right. So you take the upper torso of a gentleman you see fairly close to you, and you stick that shit right on that cue stick and kind of hide it. And just then you start hearing pounding on the door like somebody's trying to shoulder it open. I thought I fixed this damn door the other day. Smashing into it. And as you're running now, full sprinting through bodies, slapping you in the face. Hold on, I gotta actually roll for this. Okay, luckily you did not get a penis in the mouth. Because you're basically getting slapped in the face with body parts as you're running to the back of the room. You then dive into the pile of bodies and kind of hide yourself in there, wedging, kind of like allowing your eyes to be able to see. Definitely feeling a lot of warm liquid on your body now.
Okay.
And as you get in there, just right then, the door smashes open. The torso that was on that slams into the wall, just kind of slightly falling apart, but not too much. The little wedge is still hidden inside that chest. Uh, in walks a 7 foot tall beast of a man. I'm talking, we're looking at like muscle mass wise, think Brock Lesnar, but in a 7 foot tall man. He's just garnished in a massive cloak full of blood, and he's holding a massive butcher's knife in one hand, and he's dragging a body in the other, and he's grumbling to himself, roar, 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 and pushes the other body that's ripped open chest onto the floor and tosses the other body up. You actually notice the face of the body, and you look over and you're like, oh my god, that's Blade.
Okay. Um, I guess I'm just gonna lie there quietly.
All right, so if that's the case, then we will jump over to Sparta. Since Coco and Rob are now one move, you guys are now taking the middle position between Sparta and Frosty. So then, Sparta, we're jumping over to you, sir. You are now in that area, basically with the stairwell that you were in before, where behind you just came from upstairs. To your left, you can go downstairs, or straight in front of you, you can go through the door and go back to the kitchen.
Back to the kitchen is still kind of close to where the other guy was. What was the other doors there? Because big man still ran through the kitchen. I don't
Okay,
know.
so well, the man you saw, the figure you saw, was a fairly normal, average-sized man. It
Oh,
wasn't like
okay.
anybody big. Yeah, you're looking like when you were looking at him, you were looking at like a fairly normal-sized man, just with ratty clothes. Looked like he had blood all over it, but I
Okay.
mean, you couldn't
So
really
let's
tell.
go
It
to
was
the door that we locked.
okay. So now you're going into the dining room. Alrighty. Unlocking the door, opening the door. You get into the dining room and you're seeing the table itself. Strewn about is all the different dishes, food that's molding as if it hasn't been touched in months. You do notice as you get to the other door across the room, you do notice a spot where a knife was. You can definitely tell because the spot around it is all dusty, and the spot that's where the knife was is obviously not dusty. So then you notice there's a knife missing at that head of the table, and now you get to the door at the other end of the room, and it's up to you, sir, to what
It's
to do.
Is the hole in the table the same shape as my knife?
No, no, it's not a hole in the table. It's an outline of a knife on the table, as if like somebody picked up a
Oh,
knife.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just dusty around it, so you can see the outline.
Okay, so I want to, and that's the door that I opened. That big man went through. I mean the regular guy.
Yeah, you just followed the doorway you just went through, and you went into the dining room, and now you've walked across the dining room, and you are now at the door opposite where you came in from.
Okay. Steadily open the door.
All right. So now, as you open the door, you actually see to your left, because the door opens inward. To your left, you actually see two figures standing at the end of the hallway.
Psst. Hey, what's up?
All right, so Sparta walks in. Coco, Rob, you both are now back into it. As you just see this, you see Winnie the Pooh walks through the door and says, "Sup."
I go, oh, who the fuck are you?
Seeing as you guys are standing here and not killing each other, I figured we could all join teams.
So I look
There
a bit
you go.
confused at Winnie the Pooh and think anything is possible in this house. I've just met Mickey Mouse in a Michael Myers outfit. He turned out to be Coco, so this could be someone I know too.
My girlfriend calls me Winnie the Pooh. I'm actually Sparta's Darkness. Want to follow me when we get out of here?
A little shameless plugging. A little shameless. I love it. I love it.
I then realized that it's my other chocolate brother.
Coco, what's good, brother?
What's up, guy?
So now you all recognize each other. You know that it's you. Each one of you has the choice now to kind of like take off your mask or respective makeup, or you can leave it on. It's up to you. You all are now standing in this hallway. Sparta's towards the a little bit more towards the exit sign at the end of the hallway that Rob officially fidgeted with earlier, and you two are still at the door that leads adjacent to the library.
Okay, I want to gather some information. Upstairs, there's a place with dolls. 15, my stomach hurts. I don't know why. I'm just letting you know, we're definitely not going back upstairs to the left. We can count the door out.
That hurting in your stomach, you farted. It was gas, by the way.
All
Sorry.
right. So
It wasn't anything bad. Drinking the tea was the way out.
It was milk
Yeah.
in the tea.
So looking around,
Okay.
can you guys
Were
smell
these
something?
dolls? Were they moving? Were they moving dolls? Did they say some
Yes.
shit? Because I previously experienced a room with some dolls, not in this house, but in a previous place. The dolls were pretty fucking weird, but we got out of there before they did anything of any
Yeah, it
kind.
looked like they were planning on making me a doll if I didn't drink their tea as well. So
Is there any
Oh.
other doors upstairs?
I can already say it would have been fantastic for you all to walk into that room and see a Sparta doll just sitting in the chair. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Nah.
saying.
He would not have been Winnie the Pooh at that point. They would have taken his costume off. You would have seen a Sparta doll just chilling there. So,
Well, from what I can tell you is, as you've learned, and as I told Rob, don't go towards exit doors because they're false. They lie to you. They are
Yeah,
not
really
true.
don't.
I mean,
Which
sure,
is-
we'll probably have to figure them out eventually, but still, don't go to them. They're false. Treat you like shit. Also, I found these guns that have Bonnie and Clyde engraved in them. No bullets, though.
one is Bonnie and one is Clyde. Just so you're aware.
Like a devil
Kind of
may
need
cry.
ammunition for these
Yeah.
things in
Yep.
case
Yeah.
we
Exactly like that.
gotta pop anybody in the face. Also, I found this music sheet earlier with some music on it. If anyone's got anything to reference
So-
this.
Rob, you actually noticed the dagger that Sparta is holding is the dagger that was carved into the kitchen table. And you also notice that one of the musical notes on the sheet matches the musical note that was carved on there.
Yes. So I point out to Coco and Sparta that where I came to from consciousness, there was a musical note carved into a table with also a number 4 and a shape of a dagger.
So if we
So,
can find this number 4, then maybe we'll find something to figure it out. But also, before I get completely sidetracked and forget, where I woke up, I was in this room. I pushed the button,
Here it comes.
and there was a sex dungeon up in there.
holy shit!
I didn't search it because I didn't trust it, but we might have to go back there and see if there's anything of use up there.
I'm worried the sex dungeon with two dudes.
So if
Well,
we go back the way I came, we can go back to that room, check it out.
Now, where this knife was, is it like somewhere I could place it? And because from what you told me about the computer, I'm guessing you told me everything. A lot of these places are put something down and something active.
Yeah, because what I've done is I had a lighter earlier. I put it in a book, and that's how I got these guns. You know.
I got a lighter. Put it in a book.
So basically, this is kind of a house where if you put one thing in one thing, you get another thing.
Okay, so should we drop the knife and in wherever he's seen the you seen a carving of the knife?
yeah, it was a carving of a knife with a dagger into a table.
Did it look like it could fit this dagger?
No. There were no
No,
holes near the table.
It was literally just carved into the top of the table, like a small indent.
Well, where should we head off first, guys?
All right, well, let's take that as a mental note. But anywhere but the sex dungeon. Okay, and from
I
what you
second
told me,
that.
Hey, all I'm gonna say
Cool.
is, you know what?
We're looking
The
for.
most obvious place is always the least obvious.
Oh, unless there's something involving 4 in there, that's the only way you'll get me in there.
So here. Here's what we'll do. We could always go back into this library and ask Steve for shit.
Yeah,
So
sounds
there's
good.
3 floors, and then we're looking for a base. We're looking for an attic,
Oh shit!
and on the
You
second
actually-
floor is the floor that has the attic. The floor I was on, there was no extra steps. There was nothing but doors.
Because Steve told me
So I
where
don't
it
know
was,
if-
but I kind of forgot where it was. So I think we need to go back to him and refresh our brains on where this attic is.
All right. So are you 3 heading towards Steve, the computer?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So now you 3 are together. So now, Frosty, we will go back to you since these 3 are now in the library by the computer. So we'll just call this, because Coco's running the show for the most part, running back to the computer. He's dealt with it. We'll just go with a big C for the 3 of you for right now. All right. Going back to the old dungeony dungeon. All right. So basically, as you're laying in this nice old big pile of bodies parts, you start hearing this big giant man start singing a song as he's brutally chopping this me up on the table. You just see me, and I'm just like eyes open, staring at you, but obviously you know I'm dead. And chop, one chop. There goes my leg. Oh, it's a great time to chop some bodies. Chop, there goes my arm. It's a great time to swing my knife. Chop, there
I'm
goes my
going
other leg.
to try to quietly go past him. But is he in sight of the door?
Yeah, he won't actually be able to see the door, but
Okay.
his back will be to the door. He's not looking at the pile of bodies right now. He's facing towards the wall that has all those little like fridge things on it for the bodies.
Yeah.
The little containment area.
What
It's a
kind of
great time to
kind of
chop
pants
some
is he wearing?
bodies. What kind of what?
pants?
Pants?
Yeah.
He's wearing a big black cloak full of blood. You can't really see his pants. You just see a big cloak as he's chopping my body. Chop it, chop my body.
Any other weapons or blades in this room?
You do notice behind him is it's basically like one of those movable rollers for like laundry where you hang up your shirts and you can move it around.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, but it's like an assortment of blades. You're looking at meat cleavers, like machetes, like it's just basically a whole assortment of toys.
But he's wearing a big cloak, so I can't tell what he's wearing under it.
Yeah, so you can tell that he's ripped, but you just can't tell where his body really is other than his massive shoulders and arms.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try to sneak out of there.
All right. So, ooh, you got lucky. So basically, you were just able to get out of the pile of bodies without making any real noise. He did see a little head kind of just topple off of the pile, land a little bit over. He looked, stopped, and then you just hear, "It's a great time to chop some bodies." Slash! And my head falls right off the slab on the ground. And you start sneaking again. You start going behind him. As you get behind him, you're right behind his basically his little rack of weapons, and you start seeing him turn as if he's turning to grab a different weapon.
Then I first will
Full
just like,
time.
double back and try to stay in his blind sight.
All right. So, let's see. Doubling back, you are able to stay in his blind sight perfectly. He cannot see you in the slightest. He grabs his new weapon, slings his old weapon up on that rack, and starts going right back to just slicing parts off of me.
All right. I guess I'm gonna continue through.
All right. Getting back to the rack, you get about halfway there. Are you going to try to grab anything off of the rack, or are you just going to continue out the door?
No, I'm not gonna try making any noise.
All right. Getting through the doorway, you get around the door and you hear him singing. He stops for a quick second, and then he keeps singing again. And now you are back out into the hallway, and from there is a door adjacent to you, directly adjacent, or to your right, you can head down the hallway more, and there is a door at the end of the hallway.
When his footsteps were coming through, did it sound like he came through the door at the end of the hallway?
He came through one of the doors adjacent from where you are.
Okay.
So it was one of the two doors directly across on that right wall,
So
or the left
I'm
wall.
not gonna go through that door.
So you're gonna head to the one down the right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're heading to the end of the hallway, heading to that one. You go through that door. Thank God you're out of the slaughter room. And you get through and you slowly, gently close the door, and you notice that you're in this fairly open room. There's nothing really in there besides a stairwell to your right side, leading upward.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna head up the stairs.
All right. Heading up
Is
the
the
stairs.
door open inward?
Which one? The one that you came
Oh,
through?
never mind. I'm keeping this other half.
Oh, the door you came in from through that hallway was actually opening. You had to open it outward towards you and then walk through the. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting upstairs, and we will get you up there. And so now we will jump back over to Team Coco Sparta Rob at Steve the Computer Man.
Okay, Steve, I need you to refresh my brain. Where is this attic again?
Attic is located on second floor, middle of the hallway. It's a pull-down string that allows you to pull down the stairs.
On the left or the right? Steve.
Directly in the middle.
See, Steve is a smartass. Steve, question. Do you know of any of the rooms in this building?
I know every room and most things that happen in them.
Is there any rooms we should be weary of?
Stay out of the kids' room. Those dolls are freaky.
No, I guess Sparta that you dealt with that already.
That's
Is
very.
there any other kind of rooms we should not trust?
There is a room down in the basement. They like to call it the meat room. where all the meat pies are created. I would stay away from that one.
That sounds pretty much. Yeah, no, let's not go down there, guys. No basement. You stay away from the basement.
No basement. Fuck the basement. Little do you know, there's a
All right,
thing you
actually,
have to
Steve,
do down
I
there.
actually
Whoa,
have a
just kidding.
genuine question for you. Who owns this house?
Owner of the house unknown.
Bullshit, Steve.
Are there
You
any other friendlies, Steve?
You have currently 2 friendlies in the house with you, other than the 3.
two. Interesting. Is there any hostilities in this house?
Multiple hostels in house. Too
Whoa.
many to count.
Okay, Steve. Where does the most danger lie?
Most danger lies in basement.
All right, cool. So we know where we're going to avoid. You guys got any questions for Steve?
Oh,
So how many exits does this house have, Steve?
Exits have 1 or 2 exits. Restart. House has 1 exit.
Okay. That's the one I tried earlier, guys.
how many mechanisms are there in here? Because I heard a loud sound earlier. I don't know about you.
Mechanisms, traps, counted 3.
Oh, traps. That's interesting. We might have to keep an eye out in future when we're looking around the house.
And do you know anything about musical symbols? in the
Musical
house?
symbols replace for beautiful Sinatra written by owner. If played right, it will pull out the right code for exit.
Do you know where we might find the number 4, Steve?
The number 4 is in a room so lewd you would not like to be in it alone.
Yep. Yes, we gotta know. We know where we gotta go.
Okay, I'll go.
Steve's got this knowledge here.
And one last thing, Steve.
What can I do for you, Sparta?
Uh, what floor are we on?
You are on the first floor.
It means we gotta find a staircase and go up. But also, Steve, I do have one last question. Why are we here, Steve?
You are here to test our different puzzles and different experiments. You are here as test subjects related to the owner of the house.
Did the owner own a hospital by chance?
Question does not compute. That's robotics for I plead the fifth.
All right, guys, where do we go? Do we go to the sexy time dungeon? Do we go upstairs? Well, you know what? I feel like we gotta go to the sexy time dungeon.
Yeah.
You then get the
Let's
number
get it out
4.
the way. Let's get
And then
that out the
come
way.
So let's go back the way I came.
They hear
Okay.
about 2 survivors and their main thought, let's go get the sexy time dungeon out of the way. We don't need other survivors for that.
No, we probably do. I just don't know where he's at. Like,
No, I know. I just thought that was like a funny thought. Like everybody's like, well, we could find our other friend or sex dungeon. Let's do sex dungeon, guys. Sex dungeon. Okay.
Actually, wait, Steve. Question, Steve. Where are
Yes,
the
Coco.
other friendlies?
2 friendlies located. 1 in stairwell next to kitchen. 2nd in sex dungeon.
before we go to this, we might want
Before we
to.
go to the sex dungeon, let's go back towards the kitchen and pick up this other friendly, and then go to the sex dungeon and see who's in there.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are gonna go to the back to the kitchen then?
Yeah,
Yep.
try to find
To
the
the kitchen.
stairwell.
All right. So cinematically, you guys walk through the hallway, back through the dining room, and get to the kitchen. As you're about to head to the stairwell, adjacent to the kitchen, Frosty, you now hear footsteps of what sounds like multiple people walking towards this doorway. You are basically standing there after your traumatic experience in the slaughter room watching me get slaughtered. ripped apart as some big old man sang about slaughtering me. You now are officially holding the one left broken part of your pool cue at the ready. What
So
are
I
you
got,
gonna
like,
do?
Full cue at the ready. And
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
like
grab the 3 darts that I took from the dartboard. I'm gonna like Wolverine makeshift in my other hand.
all right. So are you gonna open the door or are you gonna wait? That's your choice right now. It's whether or not you want to get the preemptive or if you want to just wait. The choice is so hard.
In reality, I would try to wait.
All right.
No idea if this door will even open if I try to slam through it.
All right. So waiting there, now looking like Wolverine in one hand and very scared drunk in another. These 3 now walk through the door, and as they walk through the door, you are officially met with a zombie, a Mickey Mouse, Michael Myers, and Winnie the Pooh standing in front of you. And this is where all 4 of you now get to collaborate with your talks.
All right, human
Hey, what's up,
guy.
Hold on, what is he?
Yeah, what?
Oh, so you all walk in there, and you actually notice a Chewbacca standing in front of you with a very tight costume. I'm talking moose knuckle in the front. That's how tight this Chewbacca costume is. And he is holding a pool cue in his left hand and Wolverining some darts in the other hand. Like he is ready and raring to go.
See, at least he found some weapons. You got empty guns over here.
Hey, this ain't my fault. This house hates me. Every house that's been in so far hates me.
Trevor, you now hear them talking to each other about this.
So I was like
Zing.
just ready to like try to charge through, and they just start. I'm like a little off right now.
So,
Come on,
do you
hold up,
want to
hold up, we're
divulge
friendly.
any information you know?
I'm so. My mind is just blown right now.
Because we've been told by this computer named Steve, don't go to the basement. Basement's bad. Bad basement. Don't go to the kids' room because there's dolls up in there, but Sparta already went in there and dealt with that. And there's a sex dungeon that we need to go to after we pick you up.
And there's
I'm
one
just
more
gonna like
thing,
back
too.
up a little bit to the wall a little bit just to protect my backside after the sex dungeon mention.
Yeah. Trust me,
Because there's
I'm a
another
little
friendly
worried about
up
the
in there.
sex dungeon, too.
I don't want to go there either, but we need to go there.
Also, there's a hidden attic that we're trying to figure out and find.
But for some reason, I feel like the sex dungeon might be the key. And then, 2, Steve did say there's another friendly in the sex dungeon.
And the 4th clue is in there as well.
So now, question, guys: do we want to split up into two? Into
Nah,
a
this
two,
isn't Scooby-Doo. You see what happens?
where 2 of us go to the attic and 2 of us go to the sex dungeon?
We need the full friendly before we can
There's just
find
no
anything.
good
I don't
combination
split
for the
up.
sex dungeon talk.
I mean, I already know where the room is because I
He's
pushed
just
the
trying
button.
to get out of the sex dungeon. That's what.
Yeah.
All right,
Did you,
but guys, for real,
Did
if
you
you're not
meet
gonna kill me,
somebody
you need to
else?
let me through because there's a man downstairs chopping bodies up, and we need to get the fuck out of here right now.
Oh shit, yeah, come on, let's go then. I ain't staying
Yeah.
around for
Yeah,
that.
let's
What?
go.
Just to, also, as a little bit of metagaming here, staying in a group of 4 will help the process go by so much quicker because you can all do things together.
That's what I'm saying.
So
So let's sex
If you
dungeon.
learn anything from Scooby-Doo, it's to not do what they do in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
let's split up.
Let's split up.
I don't know about you, but if horror movies have taught me anything, Coco and Sparta would be the first to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Immediately.
All I know is I'm not going in that sex dungeon by myself in case I get knocked out again and tied up. I'm not going through that.
Well, if there's a
look.
friendly in there, and I know where the sex dungeon is, so
Which
let's
is
go.
which is funny actually, because Coco, when you saw in there was nobody in there originally.
This is
When
also-
you first saw it.
But also, yeah, I'm gonna reference that to the guy here. When he's like, yeah, also, didn't know there was a person in there because when I opened the button, when I pushed the button and got the room, there was nobody in there.
Okay, so we got to make sure. Like they definitely did say there's three mechanics in this mechanized things in here. One of you
You've
already
already found one.
yeah, one of you already
Kids
tricked
room.
one. And he's
One of the
probably hidden behind there because if he's a friendly, I'm hoping that meant friendly alive. So
It's a
It's a
sex
sex
dungeon.
dungeon, so I mean,
yeah, I think it's a
They're,
mechanism.
pro-
not
they're probably
hopefully they're not
alive, just
plugged
not
up
in
Yeah,
the
with
he's
best
not.
dildos
condition.
and stuff and look like a
Oh.
stuffed dildo pig.
All right, so then you all have decided to stick together and go to the sex dungeon. So we'll cinematically
Yeah.
push you through the kitchen, the dining room, through the hallway. As you guys are going through the hallway, each and every single one of you notices the door to your right before you walk into the library door, is just slightly ajar where it was not before. You now walk into the library. Anybody want to close the door or anything?
Yeah, I want to
You
close
need
the door, and if I can, I want to put a wedge in it.
All right, you do notice the library side does lock, so you can still put the wedge in there, but it does lock from your end.
Yeah, I'll do both.
Okay, so
like, that dude's like 10 feet tall. We need all the blockage we can get.
okay, so
Came through.
Frosty takes and closes the door and locks it. All four of you now start walking through the library, seeing all the massive books on the shelves, the tables strewn about. You get through a doorway, which actually, as you walk through that doorway, you all walk into a study. You notice there's just a study. There's a couple of bookshelves, a desk. There doesn't seem to be a sex dungeon that you can see. And then as you walk through the door, there is directly to your right, on the wall adjacent to you, is another door.
I heard something
But
fall like it was a book earlier. Can we check the ground, see if anything fell off this bookshelf?
yep, you look around on the ground and there is absolutely no books. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Okay, I gotta take a piss.
Quick intermission.
Hello.
You don't want to sit in the room with me, Baba? No. That's it. Fine, I'm back. Is he on mute or?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm on mute. I
Done.
have people, family that just showed up without my knowledge of them showing up here.
Hi-yo.
So
Should probably give everybody a dart or a weapon as well. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it.
I'll
Yeah.
certainly pass out the darts.
Because I doubt we're gonna find any ammo for those. Yeah. Little smoke break while we wait.
all right, that should be better. Wait, when did it switch over for me? That's weird.
I'm not sure. It was
Uh,
about a minute ago.
this is weird.
Did I press a button?
You
Okay.
pressed something, Blade.
I did. I must have. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just
wait.
took a snapshot too.
Yeah, there we go. I'm back to normal. I took a couple of screenshots, of all you sexy beasts. All right, sorry about that interruption.
Crap.
Screenshots galore.
So now to get back to normal.
Alrighty then. So we're getting back to where we were at. I apologize for that interruption. Um, so you get into the study. You notice, like I said, the desk at the left of you in the corner. You notice a few bookshelves here and there strewn about and everything like that. There's nothing on the floor, by the way, Sparta, that you can see. So basically, with that being said, you guys are now in a study. There's a door to your right, and that door is slightly ajar.
And we need to find all the notes so we can find the code to the exit. That's what Steve said. So we already have one of the notes. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. You have the musical sheet with the note on it that he has, that Coco has. And then you also have the knife, which at this point you think needs to be inserted somewhere.
So
Yeah.
I walk over to the desk and I find the button to push for the sex dungeon.
All right. And all four of you in this room, as he presses the button, you see this bookshelf slide open, and out of there you hear, "Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh." And then some sexy music pops back in again. Do 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 do. And so basically you're all hearing this, and it literally sounds like a porno in there. Like a really bad 70s porn.
I do gotta say, it was quite odd that you knew exactly where to go for that button.
You know,
You said you found it, but it's the eventuality of walking over there to open the door.
I was in this room already. I knew exactly where the button was.
Each person now has a little bit of a suspicion about you, Coco, knowing where that was, especially with it being closed. In the dungeon, you all look in there. Walls full of dildos and different weaponry, as they would like to call it in their profession. You see a few sex swings here and there, and strapped to what looks like a sex table is Blade. Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Are you alive again? I thought you said Blade died.
So before fully entering in, I'm gonna put a couple of the books in like the way so that the door can't like close easily.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of this
locking us into a sex dungeon.
All right, so wedging a couple of doors in the little, what looks like the little sliding slot for the bookshelf to move. You all step into the dungeon, or how are we doing this here?
Well, I see that it's you on the table, right?
Yes, you all see it's me on the table.
Well, first off, I'm gonna really.
I am clothed. I am clothed, by the way.
What were you so tired? Chewbacca.
I'm gonna walk up and I'm just gonna like kind of start
patting my face.
Yeah, try to see if
Blaze is right here.
Yeah, should we untie him now, guys, just to see if we can get him to come to and help us out?
All right, so Chewbacca walks up and slaps my face a little bit. You guys start trying to get my extremities out of these fuzzy handcuffs that I'm attached to. And I come up back into it, and I'm like, whoa, looking around. And you just see the fear in my eyes as I start realizing where I'm waking up. And it's, oh my fucking God, get me off this goddamn table. I feel like I'm fucking gonna, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Oh God, what are you guys?
What is this? Quick question.
What?
Tighten up your butt cheeks and tell me if your butt hurts when you do so.
It does not, sir. No, not that I can feel.
Get him out of these handcuffs, hurry!
Thank God for that.
All right, so you guys are able to get the handcuffs off of it, and right as you do, we all start kind of heading back towards the exit, and you do see a big old 4 written on my back.
Okay.
He is the key.
So, Blade, you want to tell me why you have fake dummies of you getting chopped up downstairs?
Wait, what?
Is this on your shirt or is this on your back?
It's on my shirt. It's on my shirt.
Because Chewbacca said he was in the basement earlier.
Somebody get cut up.
I was cut off. I
need the light.
She just shut the light off on him in the basement. Oh man, that would have been freaky if
In
we
a
came
basement,
back and
I
there was
don't
somebody
need
standing
anything
behind
else
him.
freaking
Yeah,
going
for
on.
real, right? He really disappears. It'd be just like that movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So basically, I do have a room. I do have a memory of being downstairs in a pool room, and this big guy burst through the door and chased me around the pool for a while before he actually did hit me and knock me out. But I thought that was a dream, especially waking up here. This
No,
is
I was just down there and some big ass Brock Lesnar motherfucker came through and he was chopping up your body in there.
I mean, do my
At least
body
it looked
parts look
exactly like you. Like I swear, it was you
all right?
on getting chopped up.
Well, in my opinion, I think we should get the fuck out of here because I don't like the way that this has turned out so far. I apparently was chased around by somebody and chopped up, and I woke up in a sex dungeon. Not a very good time for me right now. I'm a little fragile and panicking, and at this point, being stared at by Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, and freaking
Woohoo!
Chewbacca and a zombie. Like I'm a little freaked out, guys.
It's me,
Ugh.
dog. But
Are you dressed
Blake
up?
2.0, I don't
No, I did not.
fully
I
trust
am not
you.
dressed up.
So I don't know. You're the only one we haven't found in the costume. You have the letter 4 on your back, and homie said that you was getting chopped up downstairs. So
Makes me wary of you, Blade. Makes me wary
I
of
don't
you,
trust.
okay?
This
I
sounds crazy.
I apologize, gentlemen.
I only
I can't
found you
give
in the
you a
sex
clear
dungeon.
explanation.
Th-
I,
th-
I
th-
I'm confused.
It's understandable. I don't expect you to have an explanation. Just all my spidey senses is going off about you. So
So here's
All
what
right,
we do,
so
guys. Let's go find that attic. Let's be able to
all
get
right.
that key.
As we're walking, somebody actually, I'm gonna roll for all you really quick. All right, so as we're walking, Sparta, you actually notice a piece of paper sticking out of my back pocket.
what you got back there, buddy?
Back where? Start patting around on my butt, and I feel the note, and I hand it over to Sparta. Sparta reads it, and on the note it says, "Play the piano 4 times, and you will open the way to the exit. Second floor, bound you be, all the way to the end of the hallway. You'll see."
So we have to play the notes on the piano.
So we gotta go to the second floor. That's the key.
Hold up, say that last part again.
All right, it was play the key on the piano 4 times. To the second floor, you be, or yeah, to the second floor you be. At the end of the hallway, you'll see.
Okay. And we are in the sex dungeon, which was we didn't go upstairs or anything. We just went by, so we're still on the first floor.
We gotta go
Technically,
upstairs
Sparta,
where
you
the
did
kids
go
are in there.
upstairs.
Okay, yeah, I went upstairs, yeah. But I mean, to get back here from Steve's, we didn't go up any stairs, so we're still on the first floor.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we
Sparta,
have
take
to
us to the
make up-
staircase.
Yeah.
All right. 1 second. I'm just writing down that little thing, the little poem here thing. All right, so you guys are heading back through. As you get to the dining room, you all notice there's a few things off from the first time you came through it, as if somebody has walked through that area and knocked a few things off the table.
That
You
might
also
be-
know you also notice that the door between the dining room and the kitchen is wide open, as if it's been pretty much kicked off the hinges.
So I think this big 7-foot guy that Chewbacca over here saw is roaming this house now.
and give everybody darts. Well, everybody that doesn't have a weapon. Yeah.
I've got a turkey knife.
Yeah. Okay, I got this scimitar over here.
I got these guns with no bullets, which we still need to
So
find
you
some bullets.
need the dart.
If we gonna have to put
The
this
dart.
big motherfucker down, we gotta put him down.
All right. So getting into the kitchen, you guys definitely see a large, it's literally just this strip of blood being dragged through the kitchen, out through the door going to the stairwell, and as you keep following it, you see it's dragging it down the stairs. Something that definitely was not there before.
Just so we're aware, in the basement there were in the chopping room, I would call it, that there were blades and other weapons down there.
So it looks like the choppy guy isn't down there, so we should make a quick pit stop and grab some weapons.
I know where the room is.
If you guys are comfortable with that, then I'm happy to join you in case anything happens.
I'm not so comfortable going to the basement, but at the same time, I'm not leaving anybody. So
I agree with Sparta. I'm not comfortable waking up where I was, dying where I apparently did. I'm not comfortable with this house in the slightest, but I need to stay with you guys because I ain't living otherwise.
well,
Apparently,
wherever
we
Blaze
proved
don't
that.
might be where we want to go. Like I said, I don't trust you yet.
So we're all headed down the stairs then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go
Heading
quickly.
heading down the stairs in a fairly quickly manner, but staying quiet as possible, obviously, because you don't want to attract any attention.
I am like cooking it down there. I know where the room is. I believe he's gone. I am running towards that room.
All right.
I'm gonna drop like the cue stick at the doorway, so in case the door tries to slam again on me.
This guy.
You were that loud noise we heard earlier.
Yes.
Probably.
All right. So then you all get down there. You're all following the sprinting Frosted Frosty Flakes. Getting down to the bottom, you do see him go through a door. This whole time, you are seeing blood streak following this hallway down to this doorway. You walk in through the wide open door. Frosty drops the stick at the end of the doorway to close it prior to that fact. You walk through and you look around. You see he's definitely not in there, but you do see his little hooks with all of his weapons on it, just sitting there. It's like I said, it's an assortment of butcher knives, cleavers, machetes, different things like that. So
I'm gonna grab a machete.
All right. I am as well going to grab a machete.
Is there a certain number of these weapons, each of them, or?
There's 3 machetes, 2 cleavers, and I think it's 4 or 5 butcher knives.
Okay, well, I've already got a turkey knife. I'm going to take a cleaver as well if anyone else wants to take that last machete.
Yes, I do. I want another, because I might have to do something with this blade later and not be able to keep it. So I want another weapon. And I want you to stand in front of us, Blade. I don't like you having a weapon. Go with it this time.
All right, well then. Heading to the...
I'll grab a cleaver, but I'm going to grab a cleaver, but if we're leaving, I'm going to pick up that cue stick again.
All right. So, hold on.
Yeah, I'm loving that cue stick, man.
Thing is like the ultimate multi-tool. He's MacGyvering everything with that cue stick. All right, so fast tracking you all back into the room to go up the stairs. You're now in full sprint, making a lot more noise now that you all have weapons on you and everything. You're all running just a hint slower due to the fact that you're carrying more on you. As you round about the first floor going up to the second floor, you all hear footsteps coming to that doorway from the kitchen. And are you going to keep going or stop to try to shut the door or keep the door shut, or what's going on? Do you want to keep going upstairs, or? Remember, this is also timed.
Randy Savage.
Yeah, brother. I'm gonna.
I don't want to confront him. It might be game over for one of us. If he doesn't know where it's at, we're at. We might want to keep moving.
All right. Yeah. So agreed to keep moving.
Keep moving.
All
Yep.
right, good. Because the longer you guys waited to decide that, the lower the DC for my roll was. Because you're basically wasting time on him getting to the doorway. So it's good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
So as you guys get up to the top, to the second floor, and you get to the doorway, you hear a kick that sends the door from a floor below wide open, and you hear, "I love to chop some bodies. I love to chop some bodies. I'm going to drag him down there and chop him up some more." And you hear thud, 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 thud as the body is literally being dragged down the stairs to the basement.
We should
So now
definitely
you,
make with some haste, guys. And also, he's gonna know he's missing some weapons.
Yeah, so basically shitting myself, I say that we get up to that second floor quick and find that attic door.
all right. So you guys are on the second floor, and you're right in
Okay.
front of the door that leads into the hallway to the second door.
You
So as
said
you
it's
open
in
the
the middle.
hallway, Sparta does recognize this hallway. He does recognize the door to the left being closed and locked, and it's the door he came from. The door to the right is slightly ajar. Just about 15 feet down the hallway to the left side is another door that's slightly ajar. And then all the way down at the end of the hallway are two doors, one to the right, one to the left.
Guys,
And they're
I say we
both.
should check each of these doors for anything possible.
Aren't we looking for the attic though? Because he said it's in the middle. We know it's not in any of these doors.
Yeah, but we're also looking for the piano too.
That's true, that's part of the clue.
So if you guys are now looking for the attic door as well, looking at the ceiling, of course, because that's where that would be, you all notice the second door in the middle. The one on the left, 15 feet down from you. There is a door with a string coming from it right there.
All right, so we've secured where the attic is now. So let's find this. You said there was a door ajar. Can we peek in it and see if there's
There,
anything in
yep.
there?
All the doors in here, besides the one that you went through, Sparta, are ajar. But remember the little thing. It said, "Play the key on the piano 4 times. Second floor, you be at the end of the hallway is you'll see."
So
Because also, I
at
kind
the end of the hallway, let's go to the end of the hallway.
for these
Okay.
guns.
Yeah, I walk to the end of the hallway.
Okay, so there are 2 separate doors at the end of the hallway, one to the left, one to the right. If you're going to peek through them, through the one to the right, you do notice there is just a bunch of plants. To the one to the left, you do notice a piano sitting in the middle of the room.
Okay, so I stick my
Let
head
me
in
see
to
that
see.
music sheet. I want to see if I can discern how to play it.
I give him the music sheet.
All right. Looking down at the music sheet, you actually kind of notice a little bit of what those are. The notes that are on there. There are only 3 on there that you can actually see. Can you see them on there?
Was the third one I didn't have done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
All right.
okay. So those are the 3 notes that are on there. With seeing those are the notes that are on the sheet. You can now officially read them. You know which notes they are, each one of them.
So yeah, it was the first note that was carved into the table I woke up next to.
Yep.
As well.
And so it says play the note 4 times.
So
I'm going to hit all
the
3 of
card
them at the same time. 4 times.
Oh, are you guys going into the room? You never said that. You just,
Oh,
you guys
I peek into
Oh,
the
my
room.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
peeking. You were peeking in the room. That's where you saw the plants. You saw the
Okay.
piano. So you're going into the left side room.
Yes, with the piano.
Okay. All 4 of you going in the left side room.
Yes.
I'm
Coco?
gonna go to the right side room and check that room out.
Okay.
Okay.
Coco, do you want anybody to go with you, or do you want to just do it by yourself?
They seem to got it handled on the piano. I'll just do it alone.
All right.
No. I'll go with you.
All right.
Carter
Coco-
didn't like that idea, so he's like,
Coco
"Yeah."
and Sparta go off to the right side, and that would mean Blade, Rob, and Frosty go off to the left side. So splitting off, we'll actually jump with Coco and Sparta first. As you 2 walk into the room, you just see a massive green room. The roof itself and the two walls to your directly in front of you, and then the one off to the left side, which would be the south and west, or sorry, south and east walls, are both made of glass, as well as the ceiling. So it's definitely a green room. It's meant to get light in so that the plants will be able to grow and everything. Fertilizers strewn about on the floor. There are potted plants everywhere. Um, you do notice a few vines that look like they've grown over and are now on the floor. And so, like, it looks a little bit like the vegetation has actually gained back a lot of this room.
Looking around, is there any like desk or any type of thing?
Nope,
Be
it's
searched?
just lines and lines of vegetation. Every different sorts. You're seeing everything from just regular bushes and shrubs to you're looking at flowers of all kinds, tulips, daisies. You're looking at there's corn in there. There's a little bit of like a specific plant that looks like a flower but not quite a flower. One of them looks like what would be a massively overlarged Venus flytrap. And that one is surrounded by a lot of thorny vines.
Well,
So,
if I learn anything from video games, whatever we're here for is right under this Venus flytrap.
so here's what we do, Sparta. We both got machetes, so we
I
can cut
mean,
up some shit.
in fairness, nothing could be in this room. This could just be a room.
True, it could just be nothing. So let's cut up next to this Venus flytrap. Let's just do some shit in here.
All
Just
right. So you go up to the Venus flytrap. You're both one on each side. What are you planning on doing? Do you want to try to cut at it, or?
Well, Venus flytrap eats things, right? How about I try to feed it the machete?
You try to feed it the machete?
Yeah.
You want to feed it your weapon? All
Huh?
right. So you stick out your machete in front of its face, and it doesn't quite move. Really, it's wondering at this point. You can't really tell if it's alive or anything, but you're just pointing your machete at its face at this point.
Well, if it didn't latch on, I still think it's alive.
I'm gonna start picking at the vines around it,
How are you picking at the vines?
like just a nice swing motion.
All right, so you are swinging at it.
Yep.
All right, so as soon as you swing once and you hit that vine, that creature starts screeching extremely loud. It now is whipping around its thorny vines and hits both of you. You both actually fall backwards a good 5 feet from where you were standing.
Oh,
You both now have thorns, like thorn marks, scratches in your chest and stomach from how it hit you. This creature is screeching so loud that it's actually hurting your ears.
ow! Hey, Sparta, can you hear anything? I can't hear shit now.
Nah, I couldn't hear shit to begin with.
I had this oversized head on, so I really couldn't hear to begin with.
Yeah, I might want to. Did any of these things? Did our suit protect us at all? Because this Winnie the Pooh thing kind of has a fake round belly in the beginning. In the front.
You were a little bit protected, but it was able to cut through and get you a little bit. So you are just bleeding a little bit. However, Coco, you are bleeding a lot more because yours is just a onesie uniform, and that's not much support. As well as that, you two now hear over the screeching because it is loud.
Big man.
Massive thumps of coming up the steps.
Alrighty, Sparta. Should we run to the other room? I feel like we should go to the other room.
If we didn't find anything now, yes, we should run.
Yep. Let's just take off this and let's say nothing. We just do nothing but stand in the corner and let them do their thing.
All right, so you guys run to the other room then?
Yep.
To meet up with them? All right. So as soon as you guys run to the other room, as you're basically getting into the other room, heading out the door and through the second one, Sparta, are you in front or behind Coco? I actually should know this because one of you is going to see something and the other one's not.
Oh,
I'll
and
be
of
behind
course,
Sparta.
I would like to say before entering the room.
Oh no,
I famously.
you two are already in the room. You guys are already in the room.
But before entering so said room, I'm going to famously drop my stick.
Yeah,
in the
boy.
doorway so that the door
Famously drop.
can't lock up on.
All right. So, what? What's up? You okay? What happened? Babe. Hold on, gentlemen. My wife is crying profusely.
Yeah.
Hold.
She's playing Crash Team Racing.
Oh.
Yeah, that might be inducing the tears.
Might
Again,
be
as far as
rage reducing.
yeah. But yeah, Frosty, how do you spell your name? Because I tried to look you up so I could throw you a follow, bro, and it was not. Is it the way you
so,
spell?
so it's all one word. Frosted, Frosty.
Okay, Frosty. The way you spell it here, right? With the
Frusti. Yep, right there.
There we go. Oh, okay, I am following you. All right, cool. Just making sure I'm following both of you guys.
I don't know if I like this house. I can say that much.
That is a fact, brother.
Some freaky shit.
Yeah.
Sparta, we're about to get really screwed over because since Frosty over here likes to put pool cues into doors, we're gonna bounce off.
One of us gonna trip. I mean, we should have known that the pool cue was going there. It's going there several times now.
True.
I think we can vault over this.
Well, since we don't
Everywhere
even know.
I've gone, there's been something there to block
Yeah,
the door
exactly.
from like slowly closing.
Whew. She had me panicking. Thought somebody died. She got a message from somebody who's playing Dead by Daylight, and she's not even playing it, or whatever. Person's not on her recent players list, and they basically sent her a message. I like your outfit, and then it was a second one 1 minute later that I said I like your outfit, LOL. So she's a little creeped out, definitely weird, but I just said the only thing you can do is block and report people like that. There's nothing else we can really do about it, Just make a comment on that report. Person was being, oddly creepy.
And be done with him.
Yeah, exactly, and be done with him. There ain't no worries on that. All right, so back to me not having a panic attack. So, Sparta, you're behind Coco on this run through?
No, he said he's behind.
Okay, so
I'm
Coco, you're behind.
Sparta, 'cause he
So
was
Sparta
closer to the
gets
door than I was.
Sparta gets through the door, and Coco, as you're running in the door as well, you do see the door come directly off the hinges down the hallway, and that motherfucker is pissed.
I make
And
eye
he's
contact
coming
with
in.
him, and I'm like, shit.
So getting into the door,
I told you.
getting into the door, lo and behold, Trevor was right. The door goes to slam and stops prior to it because of the stick that was in there. The door is now wedged open, and you have a very pissed off 7-foot tall cleaver wielding maniac running down the hallway in your direction.
Well, shit. You know what? I'm gonna make a beeline back to the Venus flytrap room and lock that bitch.
Well, you can't. You are in the room with them in the left side, and the door is wedging. It's basically wedging closed. It's mechanically trying to shut, but his pool cue is just in it perfectly that it can't quite shut. So all of you are in the room with the piano right now.
I was
Somebody play
running.
something.
I want
We
to
want
run
this
towards
door to
the
close this
piano,
time.
and I wanted to hit those 3 keys 4 times.
And I want to
All
snap
right.
the pool cue.
You want to snap the pool cue, is what you said?
No. Let him go first.
Okay. So first off, let me get you a little bit of your surroundings now that you're all in here, kind of. I mean, you're all well. You know what? No, none of you are actually looking around because you're panicking because of the door that won't close and the creature impending on you. So yeah, you don't see anything in the surroundings but the piano. Um, Frosty walks up to the piano and plays all 3 keys 4 times in the order that they are on. Nothing happens.
Play the one that was on the table.
Yeah, play that one. It's the one with the slanted line, goes across, and then down to a circle.
Yeah, do that.
The
I'll hit that
the
4 times.
all right, the slamming.
I hit the 3 notes at the same time.
Yeah, it
Okay.
didn't do anything. So basically, you hear the footsteps of the pounding getting closer, closer, closer. You hit the same key 4 times. You hear the piano click, and a few mechanisms actually start going. You hear a massively loud thud come from the outside in the hallway, but you no longer hear the footsteps moving.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna peek through a little crack that we have in our door to see if I can't see anything in that hallway.
and also I'll look around to see if the piano has now activated anything in the room.
You look
Frantically.
around and you now finally see what's in the room. There are life-sized porcelain dolls standing at every point of the wall.
God.
You
Oh,
are now
Sparta.
you are now looking around, going, "Oh fuck." Sparta, you are now having flashbacks to the previous room, but with life-size
Hey,
versions
look,
of these
I
dolls.
drunk the tea. What you got?
Oh
each one
shit.
of them is looking at one of you, like each individual one. There are 5 of us and 5 of them. Each one is looking at one of us individually.
Well, with my peek through the door, what do I see?
What you notice, Coco, is the attic space actually is now connected down to the ground. Under it, between the actual attic stairs and the ground, is the big guy. Frosty was able to hit the keys at the exact time and knock his ass out as it dropped down.
Kill him.
Guys, one of
Double
us,
tap.
we're
Double
gonna have to
tap.
get out of this room.
Like, yeah.
So
We're gonna
yeah,
have to
we've
get
got
out
to
of this
get
room
out.
and get up in that attic.
We've got these weapons. We can try and defend ourselves if it comes to it.
I'd say whack 'em eyes down. We got
Well, we
machetes
have
and
machetes,
cleavers.
so
I
we
say
just drop a machete on his head and try to cut his head off real
we
quick.
run.
So
Okay, so on the count of 3, let's try and get out of this room and
Open
get him.
door for the dolls and
Yeah.
run upstairs and kill him. Well, I'll kill him while we're running up in the process.
all right. So while you guys go to open the door, you do notice the door won't open, as if the mechanics are still trying to shut it. It won't open. It's moving against the way you pull it.
So let's kick that bitch the other way. As if it was gonna close, let's just kick the shit.
So nobody's looking at the porcelain dolls, and you're all trying to kick the door. I was lucky enough to roll for myself, and you all hear me go, guys, y'all turn around and the dolls are right there behind us.
I swing with my cleaver
All
at one
right.
of the dolls.
Right at this point,
All right. You swing with the cleaver, you knock the head directly off the porcelain doll. The doll's head falls to the ground, shatters, and the whole doll drops to the floor.
So how many does that leave now of the dolls?
That
4.
leaves 4. 4
4 to
left.
5.
Okay.
So 2 of us try to get this door open while the other 3 start slicing shit.
All right.
Okay.
yeah, I'm with it.
I'm gonna start bashing up against the wall.
All right.
At this point, guys.
Up against the wall?
I'll get the door.
I'm gonna
Wait.
hit up against the door that's trying to
Oh,
go down.
I was gonna say you're gonna have
For
to
some
make me
reason,
roll
I'll
for a
think of hitting,
whole new thing if it's
I'll
gonna be the
think of,
wall.
the wall again, the sliding wall.
I was gonna say if you went through if you went to do that, you were probably most likely gonna go right through that wall into the next room. So I
Now,
mean,
but
if
the
you
next room wasn't that the dolls?
no, then there's a room between you and the dolls.
Oh, okay.
This room would actually its doorway. If he went through the wall, this doorway would lead directly out to where uh, the attic comes down.
Ooh, that's mad. How flimsy are these walls?
These walls are very flimsy. They're basically drywall. Just be
Well,
careful because there are studs in between them. If you hit the wrong spot, you're running into a stud.
let's knock on the wall real quick and see where the weakest point is.
All right. Knocking on the wall, you find the weakest point, and
Engineering.
it does seem peculiarly weak, and almost as if it's in the shape of a door.
Let's
Okay,
smash through this point, guys. I can't because I'm bleeding. I got thorns in me. All this shit's going
Knowing that
on.
guy's down, I'm just gonna juggernaut through that section. Until he
All right. So Frosty gets a running start and runs into the wall, slamming right through the wall, just stumbling into the next room. You all see into the next room, and as I believe it was Rob was still attacking, and I was still attacking those creatures. We're basically hitting them as we're backing into the hole as we all go in there. The last one falls down, shatters, and as it happens, the door releases the mechanism and opens as the last one hits the ground and shatters.
Look at that. All we had to do was chop them up and we could have got out. Oh well. No,
So
it's just
now with you guys being in this next room, you're looking around and you're seeing dressers, like tall dressers, wardrobes kind of. You're seeing like an area where it's a little bit fenced off as if somebody would go behind it to change. You're seeing mirrors all over the place. Makeup on some of these desks by the mirror. This is a vanity room, basically a place where people would go do their makeup and everything. You do notice that there is something in one of the mirrors, though. Rob, you actually notice it as a very familiar face that was in a painting earlier in a hallway.
Oh, guys, that's the gentleman from the painting near the exit that disappeared. That's some freaky thing. I don't know how it happened. When I messed with the symbols, pushed the button, he disappeared. I don't know what's going on.
I scream,
Well-
hey, mirror
Hey!
guy. To see if he turns around or see if anything happens when I say that.
Oh well. So the person or the figure turns around, actually was looking away from you, and looks at you and goes, "Hello! It's nice to see some familiar faces for once."
Oh, you, this fucking guy.
Hello,
This
my name
fucking
is
guy.
Lord Stephen Reginald Caldwell III, and welcome to my estate. I hope you've been having a wonderful time here. This is one of my very favorite places to be, actually.
You ever play Borderlands, Reginald?
I actually have not, sir. What is this Borderlands you speak of?
Oh God, I hate you, guy.
Oh, hello there, Coco. It's nice to see you again. Last time we were in a nice dark dungeon before you put my face full of lead. It was
I
a
did
very
not
mean
talk
thing to
your face
do.
full of lead. That was someone else. I wanted to
Oh,
keep talking.
you had the gun and you'd let him take it. You were by association a murderer.
Hey.
Don't worry, it gets easier as you do it more.
Yeah, guys, this is the guy who was leading the charge for the hospital I was in last time.
So you're a repeat offender, huh, Frank? Coco.
No, I just keep getting kidnapped and locked in some weird ass buildings, and I'm starting to learn these buildings at these points.
At this point, he's like, I'm just never leaving my house anymore. Fuck that. Don't worry, Coco. I'll find you in your house, too. So, seeing as you released me from my beautiful painting, is there anything I can help you out with?
Big guy. Well, first of all, I need bullets for my guns, man. I haven't found anything for these damn things.
Oh, you mean Bonnie and Clyde? Ah, those were a great, great family heirloom given down to me by my grandfather and his grandfather before him. It was nice. They're beautiful guns, but they don't fire anymore. I apologize. The firing mechanism has been taken out of it.
Told
You.
You're basically just walking around with two paperweights. It's a beautiful sign, though. At least you love the craftsmanship.
No, I don't love your craftsmanship, guy.
All right. No need for snide there, gentlemen.
So I have a question.
Yes, how can I help you, sir?
The musical note, we've played that 4 times. We found the number 4 on the back of Blade's shirt, and Sparta has a dagger, which were all carved into a table I woke up near. Does that have anything to do with opening the exit and the symbols on there?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about, this Blade guy, but what I see here is 4 gentlemen and one of my fun creatures.
Told you.
You all turn around, you notice that I no longer have a jaw. I'm dripping this weird black ooze from my body, and
I
I'm
remember
very
this.
dismembered.
It was like the damn cat from last time.
Coco remembers it.
Trust you. It's just the beginning. You have to.
However, it looks like you found my dagger. If you can just get upstairs into the attic, that will lead you to your freedom. Now it's just whether you can get past the groundskeeper and, well, my little friend here.
Well, the groundskeeper's knocked out, guy. He's pretty unconscious out there.
Oh, you killed Alan? You bastards. Alan was a great man. Wanted to be a singer one day. Never got the chance.
If he would have stopped chopping bodies and worried more about singing.
Now,
maybe
guys,
he
all
did.
we have to do
Yeah,
is
but he
not
makes a killer
attack
stew.
this creature. If we attack, this thing's gonna kill us. Don't attack it. Be as friendly as possible. Don't do what Dingus did last time and pop this guy full of lead, and we should be fine.
Okay.
He's been nothing but friendly to us from now.
The creature that once was me is now like eyeballing all of you as you slowly walk around him to get to the door behind him.
We freed you
Yeah.
from the sex dungeon, bro.
We freed you from the sex dungeon. We could have left you there, you bastard.
So keeping an eye on Blade, we walk to the
You
door
said
in
you
hopes
found-
to get to the attic.
Actually, I asked this Reginald guy, what's up with the black ooze?
The black ooze? Oh, that was my own experiment. It's a very nice little concoction I created. So what it does is it enters your system through any kind of orifice, and it eventually just changes your whole molecular structure, creating these wonderful creatures you see before you.
No, see,
They are
there's a
beautiful.
difference. That's a cool creature, sure. Nice as shit. But last time I had to deal with a horde of these things, and they weren't very nice.
Well, some of the experiments were a little aggressive, we'll just have to say. A little aggressive.
And see, this time you didn't even get pumped full of gun bullets. You didn't get killed this time.
Well, I don't know what you mean by this time, but this is actually, I remember you, but this is actually the first time we've spoken face to face, sir.
Oh, yeah. Last time we had like a hologram or a robot or a dummy. It was just not
We
you.
spoke over the phone, sir.
Oh, yeah. I called you for advice. It was good advice. I lived. So yeah.
Well then, you should probably stop not heeding my advice and head your way to the attic to live.
Let's go.
I don't know
down,
about
guys.
you, but I have not steered you wrong yet, have I?
No.
Let's go.
Yep.
All right,
To the attic
so
door.
you all walk out the door, and right there's the attic door. Under the attic door that leads to the stairs to the attic is the groundskeeper, Alan, crushed under it. He is, you do notice that it was enough of a force to actually push into his chest and cave it in. So he's definitely not getting back up.
My condolences, brother.
I whispered to Sparta, and I'm like, "Yeah, he's definitely dead. Let's just not tell Steve, and I don't trust the fact that he'd be happy about this. So just keep going."
All right.
So yeah, we make our way up to the
Yep.
attic.
All right, so getting up to the attic, you guys basically you get up there and you notice. Actually, let's switch over to my attic view here. Hold on. All right. So coming up, you look around and directly across from you, you see a large glass door. The whole attic itself is basically a glass bubble, and you can definitely tell that it's raining. So outside of here is freedom. All of you notice in front of that door is a box. It is a box that comes directly up from the ground, and it has a little tiny slit in it, as if a certain dagger might fit in there.
See, I knew going in the tub would be worth it, man.
Yeah, that was a good choice right from the beginning, because you
Yeah,
definitely would have had to go back down to the tub to
yeah,
find it.
exactly right. Put that dagger in there. See if it fits.
All right,
Yep.
so sliding the dagger in there, you hear the final mechanism start clicking, click, 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 and it goes down through it, and you see the big glass doors open up, and you can hear the rain pitter pattering on the patio just outside of that doorway. You can feel the breeze come in, smell that musty, rainy air, and you're just so psyched for freedom right now. You hear a really, 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 really loud screech, and it sounds like multiple of them, and you now see the creature blade coming out the door and heading towards the stairs to the attic.
Guys, we should run.
Oh yeah, it's about that time.
Yep. I'm
I,
out.
I'm
Let's
not
go.
gonna fight him. Hopefully,
All
when
right.
it's rain.
All right, so choosing to go outside, you all get out there. You notice on the patio it's basically a wire going from the patio down to a tree that leads to a yard where you can get out. Basically, now is your choice of how you specifically want to try to attempt to go down. If you choose wrong, there's still a possibility of death.
Go down what?
You are basically going to try to zip line down on this wire that's connected from the house to a tree in the backyard.
I'll look
Okay.
around the patio to see if there's anything we can use as a handle for the zip line.
All right. So looking around on the patio door, or on the floor, I mean, you look around and you do see a basket full of clothes. As you see the basket full of clothes, you actually hear that screeching getting louder, and Blade is now up in the attic, dripping this black ooze out of his
I grab.
non-existent bottom jaw.
Let's grab one of these shirts and throw it up on there and
I
see what
say,
happens.
Yeah, one after the other.
All right. So the first one goes. Who's going to be the first one?
I'll be second.
I'll go first.
All right. So Frosty gets on there, goes first. Blade's getting a little closer. Sparta jumps on there, starts going down. Blade gets a little closer. Rob and Coco, who is going next?
I'll go next.
All
Okay.
right. Coco, sending Rob to his doom, jumps on that. And Rob, you are now met face to face with the version of me that
So-
is all gooey.
Okay.
Superhero
With-
John.
Positive space
Knowing that
rock
you
to
aren't you anymore, I quickly slam the turkey knife into your head, grab the shirt to try and get out of there on the zip line.
All right. As you pull back with the turkey knife and jab it into my head, you see me collapse. And as you see me collapse, that reveals at least 40 more of these creatures that just entered the attic. You grab your shirt, whip it over that wire, and jump off just as the last one's reaching for you, and they start falling off of the patio coming after you. They're now falling to the ground and just dying, hitting the ground and exploding open like a freaking body hitting a cement ground from like the Empire State Building height. You're just flattening out. You now get there, you get to the tree, all four of you are there, and excited to be out of there, you run out, and as you all run out, and behind you, you close that little gate, and on the gate, which this is more of like a foreshadowing moment. None of you would actually see this, but on the gate it closes and says, "Until next time," and it fades out. All of you have escaped. Nobody died. It was a fantastic session. I got mutilated, but that was meant to happen, so there's nothing you guys could have done about it.
I told you.
Okay.
That fake one. I was like, something about him didn't rub me wrong in the beginning, bro.
I'm glad that you all survived that, because there were
Yeah.
actually a couple of moments where, I mean, alone Sparta right there could have died.
Yeah.
If you didn't drink that, you, like I said earlier, you guys would have literally came up to that room and there would have been a Sparta doll sitting at the frickin' table. So I mean,
once they came off, I was like, I thought it was gonna be like a one fell swoop thing.
yeah.
Once it was like me like scissoring at it, I was like, nah. Let me just serious.
He's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drink this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I die.
exactly. At
That's the
this
same.
point,
Well, and I mean, it's the same thing too with like Frosty. Obviously, I mean, he was seconds away from death. Like, he was in the wrong room, the wrong time. Which was funny, actually, that you chose to go right instead of left. Because if you would have chosen to go left, you would have ended up meeting him face to face as he was dragging my dead body back to that room. So it would have been a whole different scenario if you had gone left. Like, that's one of the most fun parts about this whole thing, is just you guys choose to go left. It's a different story than going right. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm so excited. I'm glad that this one went really well. I hope all of you had fun.
That was really good.
good, yeah.
Awesome. Well, because this is going to become more of a regular thing. I'm going to be trying to do this at least once every week or 2 weeks, depending on how we can do this. It might actually have to be twice a week because of the different time zones, and the people who won't be able to make it to one would be able to make it to another. If you're able to make it to both, by all fucking means, that'd be awesome. As you all heard from Coco, every time you come back into this, you will have the memories of the previous time. So
Ah.
every time you will
And
know about
technically,
the
since I'm
last
the only
one.
one who made it to this one out of Dingus and Panda,
Yep, Dingus
I
and
carried
Panda
over
won't
the
know.
knowledge.
Yep, they won't know
Okay.
what happened to this one, but they will remember what happened in the last one. And all of you, if you end up in another one, will definitely have these memories of this whole thing. So by all means, if we start doing this more and you all start taking more place, feel free to keep a notebook, because every bit of the notes you take throughout the whole thing counts and goes over. So you can keep using those notes. You never know. There's possibilities where sometimes some of the puzzles might overlap. One that you previously have solved before, and you go, oh, hey, I remember this one. And you solve it super quick, and people start thinking, oh, God, is this fucker the one who put us here? Oh, God.
Yeah, that's
Kind
quite
of like that
interesting.
whole Coco thing.
Yeah.
Opening up the sex dungeon, everybody's like, whoa, Coco. How'd you know exactly where that was?
Right?
Yep.
I spawned here.
So, I mean, I'm going to send pictures to all of you, my notes that I had,
Okay.
plus all the maps and everything, so you guys can kind of look over it, see where you were. I
So, at
am
any
going
point
to...
were me and Rob ever in danger?
You and Rob actually had the most easy route the whole way. There was absolutely zero danger in the library, the study, anything. The most danger you guys were actually in was when Rob was actually following you and you both went into the sex dungeon. That was the most danger. Luckily, you guys were smart enough to put the books there, because I can guarantee you if you wouldn't have put the books there, that would have triggered a pressure plate that would have actually shut the door and kept you guys in there. But because you kept the books there, when you stepped on the pressure plate, it registered as the shelf was where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it didn't
After
activate
first
the...
door closing, that's not happening again, bro.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a reoccurring thing in every one of these. That's what I'm saying. Like, the memories, they do
Oh
trigger.
no! The next time I go in the sex dungeon, I forget to put a book there.
Be locked in there for good and not be able to get out?
Well, the nice thing, too, is we're supposed to be doing another one of these tomorrow at about 8. So if anybody's able to make it there for that one, that'd be awesome. But it's the same house, same map, everything. So they're just gonna get their version of it. Alan is not going to be there, the groundskeeper. He will be replaced by something else, since you four were so kind as to crush his freaking chest through his body. See, it's the same
Killed
thing.
you.
Like,
He had it coming.
Yeah, I knew
That's
fighting
true.
him wasn't the way. I
He
knew
was
that
just too
wasn't
angry.
Well,
Yeah.
it was actually the thing that set it off too is like he would have heard you guys when you opened up the attic, and then that would have been him chasing you rather than those creatures. But since you actually Coco and Sparta went over to that greenhouse and they chopped that thing and actually pulled him there via like a distraction, he was more worried about his plan than he was you guys. He didn't know it was you until he met eyes with Coco. And then when you guys got in the room and knocked down that attic stairwell and crushed him,
Oh,
that's when,
yeah.
So
And it
everything
turns
you
out
did
he's
was
just
by
a really
shit
nice
luck.
guy. He's just
Yeah.
doing his job and everything. He's like, oh no, my plants! I gotta tend to them. I must
Yeah.
hurry.
To think,
Little
if
did
me
you
and Sparta
know.
would have never went into that other room,
Yeah, if you and Sparta would have never went into that other room, you would have knocked down the stairwell to the attic. It would have warned him that you were there. He would have progressed to the second floor, and if you guys would have taken the same route you did this time, and you would have actually, like, instead of killing the porcelain dolls and exiting through that door, and you would have went through the wall like you did, you would have been stuck talking to Steve, and then he would have gotten to the second floor, and he would have literally had his free reins to keep you in any room he wanted while he was trying to search for you. So that would have extended us probably another 20, 30 minutes of you guys sneaking, trying to get into the attic. So,
hey, so me and Sparta
God.
made a smart decision, even though it
yeah.
hurt us.
Even though it hurt you guys, and it wasn't really supposed to even happen, or it wasn't planned, you guys actually lucked out and got the best possible scenario for the end.
There we go, man. That's rank.
And that right there is incredible. Also, that is going to be the end of Team Bromance Adventures episode 1, part 1. Part 2 will be tomorrow, Monday, and hopefully I should be able to upload these to YouTube and to the podcast no later than this coming weekend. So that's where I'm going to end the recording.